From the Sacramento Kings looking to acquire Tobias Harris, to the Pacers taking Wiggins off of the Warriors' hands, here are all the NBA trade rumors you need to know. Philly's been making some moves to beef up their bench after an abysmal season, and that might give the Sacramento Kings an opening to sign Tobias Harris. The Kings already have a solid point guard with De'Aaron Fox, and Domantas Sabonis definitely does a great job of securing the paint, but it turns out that they're looking to add another forward to the mix. This is where Tobias Harris might come in, at least if the 76ers are willing to make a three-way trade. Honestly, Philly might be tempted to let go of the veteran, considering their bench ranked 29th last season. What they really need is a point guard in reserve, which means that sacrificing a power forward like Harris might make sense in the grand scheme of things. As for the Kings, they haven't had a lot of luck getting the players they want, with Pascal Siakam going for the Pacers and OG Anunoby heading over to the Knicks. With Harris, the Kings will get someone who has a 17.8 PPG average, not to mention his seriously impressive 51% field goal accuracy. If the deal goes through, the Kings will have Harris for the rest of his contract at the very least. But considering it expires next year, this raises an important question. Will the Kings want to deal with negotiating a new contract after just 6 months? Or are they just looking for someone to temporarily bolster their forward strategy? Either way, Harris seems like a good bet, but of course, all their failed bids so far just go to show how important it is to have contingencies in place. That's why they're also looking into Miles Bridges. Here we've got another forward who can hold his own, which you can see clear as day from his 20.1 point average. And he also has decent rebound stats with 7.1 per game. The thing is, there's a bit of a cloud over his career after he pleaded guilty to felony domestic assault, and his 30-game suspension obviously left a bad taste in people's mouths. Acquiring this player will be a bit of a PR nightmare, but despite all that, the Kings are reportedly interested in a two-way trade involving Bridges. To be fair, it's not like they're the only ones looking into him. The Mavericks and the Pistons are also throwing their hats into the ring, which just goes to show that the biggest trades are often the ones you least expect. This is all just based on insider reports, but it's safe to say they wouldn't be coming in unless there was some weight to the rumors. Over in Atlanta, the Hawks are thinking about unloading at least one player to the Lakers. LA has a rock-solid lineup, and they might not even need to make a trade to go for the title. But from the looks of things, they want to add a new star to the roster, just to make sure they dominate the competition. For starters, the Lakers think that DeJounte Murray is just the player they need to complement D'Angelo Russell, which kinda makes sense when you look at the numbers. 21.4 points per game is nothing to sneeze at, so it's really just a matter of price at this point, at least if the rumors are true. This could just be yet another example of overexcited analysts reading into things a bit too much. But at the same time, a deal like this definitely has some legs if you think about it. Some reports suggest that it'd only happen in a 3-team trade, which might complicate things enough that the Lakers would look into their other favored acquisition of the season. I'm talking about Trae Young. The fact that the Lakers are so interested in signing someone from the Hawks is a testament to how deep Atlanta's bench is. However, the thing about an all-star like Trae Young is that he'll only be available for an off-season trade, which means that the Lakers will keep their hands to themselves come February 8th. There are some advantages to this, such as the chance to get 3 first-round picks, and they won't have to rush through a deal in a short time frame. On top of that, the prospect of getting Trae Young seems even sweeter considering the extra picks when you factor in another player the Lakers apparently have their eye on, Donovan Mitchell. Both he and Young have the same high profile, and either one of them would create a 3-star forward lineup that would make the Lakers hot favorites. You might say it's a bit of a long shot, but hey, a guy can dream, right? A team like that on the court would be a sight for sore eyes, and considering that LeBron's pushing 40 and Davis is in his 30s now, it might be time to get some young blood in there to spice things up. If an all-star can bring that youthful energy, it is about as good as it gets. But look, no matter what happens, the Lakers are going to be all right. The team I'm really worried about are the Golden State Warriors, and they have some tough choices ahead of them. The glory days of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green are quickly fading away, with Curry getting a bit long in the tooth, Thompson proving to be a bit too expensive for the Warriors, and Green's injuries holding him back. Honestly, Thompson's price tag really shouldn't be an issue for a team that's worth $7.7 billion, but that's just how it is for some reason. Now, the Warriors have made some attempts to find players that can fill in the gaps, but it's safe to say that things have not gone well for them. If you ask me, trading Jordan Poole for Chris Paul wasn't exactly the best decision. Don't just take it from me. DeMarcus Cousins didn't understand the logic behind this move either. because the Warriors basically traded a young player with a whole career ahead of him for someone who's going to turn 40 real soon. Sure, you could argue that he's Hall of Fame material, but did this trade really fix any problems for the Warriors? The gaps in their roster are still there, because Paul's not a whole lot better than Poole when it comes to defense, and that's an area where the team desperately needs some heavy hitters. And to make things worse, Andrew Wiggins is probably one of the most disastrous signings the Warriors have ever made. It seemed like a great decision in the short term when he helped win them the championship in 2022. He was the second highest scorer on the team. His rebounding and blocking were second to none, so you can definitely see why the Warriors thought that bringing him on was a stroke of genius. But fast forward to 2023, and all of the luster is gone. Wiggins ended up having his worst season ever, seeming like a puppy someone abandoned in the Bay Area. He'd reached 52nd place in the rankings during the preseason games, but his dismal performance in the crunch matches led to a staggering drop to the 179th spot. With an average of just 12.3 points per game, along with his 17.5-point average per 100 possessions, Andrew's presence on the court was actively bringing the rest of the team down, and it got so bad that Steve Kerr had no choice but to bench him. So, does this mean that the Warriors are going to ditch Wiggins and look for someone better? They might not have another option, so the only question is who they get. And more importantly, who would possibly want to acquire Wiggins after his disappointing season? Well, word on the street is that the Cavaliers might be interested. If things go the way people are predicting, Cleveland will hand over Jarrett Allen and Isaac Okoro in exchange for Wiggins and Moses Moody. With a 2028 first-round pick thrown in to sweeten the pot, I have to say, that'd be a solid deal for the Warriors, because Allen's shown great form in the past few games, averaging 16.7 points and an excellent 11.9 rebounds per game, all while working to fill the gap left behind by the injured Evan Mobley. Also, getting Okoro might soften the blow from losing Moody since he can serve in the same point of attack defender role, more or less. That said, Allen is just so much better than Wiggins at this point that the Cavaliers might ask for more than just a first-round pick in the distant future. If the deal doesn't go through, the Pacers might offer an alternative trade, but not the one Warriors fans are hoping for. I know, everyone wants Wiggins to be traded for the big man, but Miles Turner and Indiana have the sort of love affair that just won't end anytime soon. What's more likely is that Hield will be available since his contract negotiations fell through. He might not help in the size department, but he'd make a killer shooting trio with Steph and Thompson. So this trade seems way more likely than the Wiggins-Turner deal. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if the Warriors find a way out of this mess. Until then, from the Pacers helping the Warriors get rid of Wiggins, to the Sacramento Kings vying for Tobias Harris, these were the NBA trade rumors you needed to know.